What's up, everybody? Brian Mann here, Hands-On Auto Training. This is the end of day, January 21st, 2022. Guys, we're working on a 2012 Chevy Malibu. It's got a used computer in it for some issues going on there. This is, just so you know, an E37 computer, and that is for the 4-cylinder vehicle. The software calibration is loaded just fine. I had to do the VIN override function, and now we've got 7 minutes left on our security learn. Just so you guys know, my next job coming up, I think, is a 2004 Chevy truck. I forget what it was, either a Tahoe, Silverado, or something like that. But they've got a issue with communication. It doesn't start. So I guess they told me nothing communicates on a vehicle. So that's right up my alley. I've got the Snap-on Vantage Legend in my vehicle. I'm thinking what we'll do is probably get on site, make sure it doesn't communicate, make sure we actually do have a problem, and then also hook up the DLC breakout box and get that scope on there and see what our Class 2 serial data looks like. That's going to be pin 2 of the DLC on this vehicle. So that's what's going on there. Guys, on the membership site, I just added Pico measurements onto the Pico lessons. Now that course says basic PicoScope, but I tell you what, I'm going more into advanced functions on there. In the second chapter, we go into advanced stuff. So we already got reference waveforms and other things going on, but we're going to be going into measurements on this lesson that I just added today. So that's going to be like showing you how to count the teeth on a crankshaft or whatever without actually counting. Use the tool, use the power of the scope to do the counting for you. Next week I'll have the math channel lessons up there. That's going to be showing you how to use the math channels, which are super powerful to find dropouts and crank sensors and other things along the way. So you'll see that in a little bit. We'll let you know how this goes, and I'll see you on that Chevy truck. 6 minutes to go here. All right, guys, here's a prime example of using SPS2 or GMSPS on a GDS2 vehicle. This is a 12 Malibu. It is basically a GDS2 Global A car, and it works just fine, no problem. Used computer. So you never know. Some people say, oh, you can't. That's baloney. You can. It may or may not work. If you're willing to take the risk, you can go ahead and do it. And if you don't have an alternative means to get the job done, well, you might be stuck. So in this instance, it worked out. Onto that Chevy truck. All right, so yeah, we have an 04 Chevy Suburban Tahoe here. I'm just going to take a look what we got going on right off the bat. Turn the key on. I don't see a check engine light. Security light goes out, and I don't see a prindle either. So also this vehicle does not crank, just so you know. Hooking up the DLC breakout box, we do have activity on pin 2. That is a good thing. Let's see what else turns on and doesn't turn on. The radio doesn't turn on. HVAC displays are all out. And just because it's quick and easy, I wanted to go hop in here on the lab scope and take a look at what the data line looks like. Just because this little light blinks on our pin 2 here does not mean that it's a good signal. So let's see here. Oh, gotta change my setup here. We gotta go to test volts DC. All right, and you can see we do have some sort of data. Let's move this trigger up just a little bit, and I'll put a little more time on the screen there. Sometimes I'm not a fan of the way the Snap-on scope is. It's kind of clunky in my opinion to navigate. So let's just put 100 milliseconds up there so we can see data. So we do have data that looks all right to me off the bat. So I was hoping to see something there. Let's get the scan tool plugged in and figure out what talks and what doesn't. All right, I did verify that we have no communication with the engine control module. And you can see here we have this data line goes to SplicePack 205, which I think is up in here. The SplicePack 205 goes into the powertrain control module and also comes out of the powertrain control module back to the BCM. So that's interesting. We got to figure out which way is going what, but I'm more concerned probably with checking my powers and grounds to the powertrain control module. So using all data as we are, I usually find that going to diagrams, I believe the manufacturer diagrams will have a real nice picture showing us all the powers and grounds for this powertrain control module right off the rip. Let's see here. Go to powertrain management, engine controls diagram 1, and here we go. This is the picture I was looking for. So you can see we have G103, very important to check, and then we have our powers coming in here. So I want to be taking a look at where this G103 is probably real quick. This is a rusty old truck. Lower right of engine. Let's take a look here. All right. Number 1 is G103. So 1 is actually looks like up on the cylinder head back there, maybe. It's showing right there. These pictures are always leaving something to be desired, right? All right, so I'm thinking that's going to be the one that's way back in here. Usually I'll just reach back there. If I can squeeze my hand back there, I'll reach back there and go ahead and grab that ground and pull up on it. If it breaks, it was bad. All right, so reaching back there, I didn't find anything. Now, I always like, we got some easy access points because some people have been already poking around, so I'm not a big fan of the power probe. I really don't use it much, but let's check this thing out. How's this thing work? We got, it tells you what it is on, right? How's this the ground? So these are ground, I guess. All right. Guys, you don't see me use the power probe much, do you? So I think our ground's okay. Now we gotta check our powers to the PCM. All right, so we're using the power probe checking here. On the ignition 1 voltage, I have 19 of C1. I have battery positive. On C1, I don't know how to use a power probe, and I don't use it often, but it doesn't look good. But if I put juice there, that's what the power probe's for, right? Juice it up, I can hear some clickety clacks. So maybe I can get an assistant over here to give me a hand. But I want to show you, if I go to this, I get this signal, and if I put juice there, go crank it. Okay. That thing hasn't ran for a long time, has it?
Oh, wow. No power?
Yeah, no power. No power down to that pin there. So I just took your power probe, I juiced that up, and it's going. So we got to find an open circuit between this fuse here, because I do have power reading at this 20 amp fuse here, but I don't have it here. See if I don't know if the key's still on or not, but oh, maybe the key's off. Where's there? We got power there. Got power there. So you have an open circuit between this fuse here and that circuit there.
This fuse.
Well, the fuse is fine. There's nothing wrong with the fuse.
So this is a...
You're right, PCMB.
PCMB.
PCMB. All right, so after a little happy hunting, we found these wires. I pulled on them. We opened this up, and I pulled on it, and this is what comes out. So we know we're onto it. All right, everybody, we got ourselves a 2013 Chevy Suburban. Got a window switch. Guys, you got the programming label right there. If you ever see that arrow back and forth with the wrench, that is a GM programming label. So this new switch, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing all programmed up, see what happens here. All right, there's our warranty claim code. Let's see if this thing is ready to work for us. I think before they said the only window that would work was the driver's with a new switch. And there you go, you got passenger operation. A little slow, albeit. Make sure this one works. Door lock works. That's good. And that works, beautiful. And make sure the driver's works. Make sure our meters work. Good stuff. Okay, we got ourselves a 2005 Honda Odyssey, setting a bunch of misfire codes and a P0171. called out to do an update on this. Okay, so there's an update available. We're going to go from a 610 right here to a 6.5, 610 to 650. I'll go ahead and hit the update button and enter. And of course, we always do keep our battery maintainer on there. These older ones do take a little bit longer to get going and get the whole job done. Super important to have your battery maintainer and your laptop plugged in. Sitting here at 0%. You know, guys, one of the biggest problems I have is I wear out battery cable leads real fast, flexing them right here. So I had to repair this at the last job just after I got done with that Suburban driver door module. I unplugged this thing and boy, I had some problems there. We're still at 0% here. Not a good start to this party here. There's 5%, so you see it's going to take a little bit. All right, we're complete. That's all updated. So that 2012 Chevy Malibu that I did this morning, I failed to mention why the computer was replaced. I guess it keeps on setting an input speed sensor code, and the technician actually could go into the TCM and see this input speed, and he thought that the PCM was a fault. I didn't think it would fix it. I kind of told him that. So tomorrow I get to go back, tomorrow morning bright and early, I'm going to go back and program a brand new TCM for that vehicle. Not a PCM. We programmed the used PCM and that went fine. Now he's going to put a TCM in there. We're going to take care of that. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Give me a comment and let me know if you made it to the end of the video. I really am curious who or how many people watched to the end. If you guys like this stuff, let me know. That Suburban today was fun. Really, I had a small amount of time into that one. It was a pretty quick, easy diagnosis for me. But I'm really hoping that the shop that I work with can kind of see my thought process as I went on there. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.